speeches always take off like wildfire.
Paul said that he'd ended up reciting pizza menus in actual Italian, which shows an unplanned final outcome. We've actually managed it, Paul. I was convinced we'd run out of crisps by mistake again. Plus, Fred's speech is being written on a napkin. According to him, it's based on warrior wisdom.
Fred's speeches always take off like wildfire. Check out David's honey cakes, though. They're disappearing faster than last year's budget. He's absolutely cracked it. Did you know he was teaching Italian by accident in the break room? I ended up reciting pizza menus in actual Italian.
Classic David. How's your mum getting along with her new puppy? Last time we chatted, she was looking after that cheeky spaniel.
She's full of beans, just like the dog. I've been dealing with daily photos of them blowing off steam in the park. Make sure you can make it for Sunday roast. We're gonna need your expertise on Yorkshire puddings.
As long as we don't set off another gravy debate. Last time, Gran was knackered from listening to us argue about lump-free sauces.
Fair. Anyway, how's your sister? She's been out of work for weeks. Must be fed up.
Actually, she's taking part in a bakery course. In advance, I warned her not to give up. Now she's loaded with orders. We're all in the same boat, though. I've been putting off my tax forms for months.
Tell me about it. I'm dealing with Fred's Viking Metrics spreadsheet. It's cost a fortune in coffee just to carry on. By the way, fancy hanging out Friday? Let's go with the flow. Cinema, curry, no faffing.
Sounds mint. Looking forward to it. Just don't order the vindaloo on purpose again. My stomach's still recovering.
Deal. Oh, check out Fred's throne. It's been over an hour and he's still explaining Brand Valhalla to the interns.
He's just blowing off steam. According to HR, he was done in after that client call yesterday. Let's go with the flow. In another 10 minutes, David's going to start his Roman marketing hacks speech.
Fred's spreadsheets better be over soon. And David, the only bloke who'd base a campaign on first-century gladiator hashtags, bread, circuses and retweets.
Surviving Mondays as well as Viking parties. We've cracked it. Hi everyone. Welcome to the very first episode of Talk About the Talk, the Melody Minds language podcast, where we break down expressions from everyday scenes and help you master real-life English. I'm Anna, and here's Paul.
Hello everyone. Today we're dissecting our chat from Frank's party. Frank's party? Who's Frank? Blimey, Paul. We've been practicing this podcast for a week. You've really mucked it up now, haven't you? And you, our lovely audience, got the bug? More like lost the plot. Right. Fred's party. Frank? No clue who that is. Must have been a proper brain fart. That lively night when we used loads of British idioms and expressions. If you follow along, you'll soon be able to use these phrases naturally in your own conversations.
Let's start with one of the basics, run out of. I mentioned that I'd been convinced we'd run out of crisps by mistake again. You could also say we'd used up all the snacks. For example, you might say you ran out of milk by mistake and couldn't make tea. Also, another way to express it is that your cupboard's been completely used up.
Right. And then there's set off. As in when Anna joked that we shouldn't set off another gravy debate, meaning we shouldn't trigger an argument. Alternatively, you might say we should avoid starting another argument over the best way to make gravy. For instance, if we set off an argument about the gravy recipe, everyone would get stressed.
Speaking of triggering things, we also used take off. Paul mentioned that Fred's speeches always took off like wildfire. Take off means something becomes popular very quickly. You could also say they went viral. For example, her video took off after she posted it on social media. Alternatively, you might say that new meme went viral overnight, after it was shared on Twitter.
And don't forget, check out. I said you should check out David's honey cakes because they were disappearing faster than last year's budget, which means to have a look at them or investigate their success. You might also say to take a look at David's cakes. For instance, you should check out that new gadget. It's amazing. Alternatively, you could say to have a gander at David's cakes.
Exactly. Now, look after is another one we used. When I asked Paul how his mum was getting along with her new puppy, I was referring to her looking after or taking care of the dog. You could simply say take care of instead. For example, could you look after my plants while I'm away? Alternatively, you might say you always take care of your little brother when mum's at work.
And then we had some fun with blow off steam. Anna mentioned that Fred was just blowing off steam, meaning he was releasing his stress. For example, after a long day, you might like to blow off steam by going for a run. Alternatively, you could say you like to unwind after work. For example, you unwind by listening to your favourite tunes in the evening.
Right. Moving on. We used put off when talking about procrastinating on our tax forms. I said that I'd been putting off my tax forms for months, which means to delay or postpone. You could also say you keep delaying your tax forms. For example, you put off doing your homework until the last minute. Alternatively, she keeps postponing her dentist appointment until it's too late.
And then there's carry on. I mentioned that Fred's spreadsheet had cost a fortune in coffee just to carry on, meaning to continue despite challenges. You could also say, keep going. For instance, even when things are tough, you've got to carry on. Alternatively, you might say, no matter what happens, just keep on going and you'll eventually succeed.
Don't forget end up. Paul said that he'd ended up reciting pizza menus in actual Italian, which shows an unplanned final outcome. Alternatively, you might say you wound up reciting. For example, you ended up staying home all weekend. Alternatively, he wound up losing his keys after the party.
Now, get along with is key in social situations. Anna asked how my mum was getting along with our new puppy, meaning how well they were doing together. The British equivalent is get on with. For example, do your colleagues get on with the new manager? In very casual conversations, Brits might shorten it to just get on, like asking do they get on? But the full phrase is always get on with when you want to be clear.
Switching gears to our more modern lingo. Hang out. Paul suggested hanging out on Friday with no faffing, meaning to spend casual time together without wasting time. You could also say chill out. For example, we're going to hang out at the pub later. Alternatively, after work, let's just chill out at the park.
And then there's look forward to. Anna said she was looking forward to it, which means being excited about something coming up. Another way is can't wait for. For instance, you look forward to the weekend every week. Alternatively, you can't wait for your holiday next month. It's going to be brilliant.
We used cost a fortune when Paul joked that Fred's spreadsheet had cost a fortune in coffee just to carry on, meaning it turned out to be extremely expensive. Alternatively, you might say cost an arm and a leg. For example, that designer bag costs a fortune. Alternatively, that new car costs an arm and a leg. It's way too expensive.
And don't forget, in the same boat. Anna mentioned that she was in the same boat. She had been putting off her tax forms for months while her sister was swamped with bakery orders. That means they were both facing similar challenges. Alternatively, you could say we're all in this together. For example, we're all in the same boat when it comes to handling endless paperwork. Alternatively, we're all in this together when it comes to managing our budgets.
Lastly, a quick word on give up. I said not to give up, meaning don't stop trying. Another option is keep going. For example, even when it's hard, keep going and don't give up on your dreams. Alternatively, when the going gets tough, keep going until you succeed.
Just to add a bit of British flavour, we mentioned expressions like full of beans to describe someone energetic and faff to mean wasting time. These expressions are part of everyday lingo, and if you use them correctly, you'll sound very natural.
Exactly. And we even talked about how being loaded can mean being busy, not just wealthy. For instance, if someone says they're loaded with orders, it means they've got many orders to fill. Alternatively, you might say swamped, like, after the sale, the shop was swamped with customers. Alternatively, after the event, the cafe was swamped with orders.
Our chat is meant to be a fun way for you to practice not only these expressions, but also different grammatical structures like reported speech and if clauses. If you'd listened to our party banter, you'd have heard a mix of past, present, and future tenses all woven together naturally.
That's right. And remember, if you regularly follow our new videos and practice the expressions by writing, speaking, and even singing along with our songs, your English will improve noticeably. Our free online PDF quizzes and tasks will help you drill these phrases even further.
Cheerio for now. And remember, don't give up. Whether you're out of work or just in need of a kip, you've actually got this.
Thank you for joining us on this first episode of Talk About the Talk. We hope our breakdown of these expressions makes your learning journey a bit easier and a lot more fun. Stay tuned for more episodes where we dive deeper into everyday English with Melody Minds Languages.
Goodbye, everyone. And remember, keep practicing and we'll see you next time.